Hi, everyone. This is the African American Black History Education and Enlightenment Program. It's brand new. We just started because today is the first day of Black History Month. And I like to also add African American Black History Month because a lot of the Black history that we are enjoying is from a lot of people from different African background and Caribbean as well. So this is just to help everyone, including myself, to learn more about Black history, African history, and how our brothers and sisters from around different other cultures have contributed to the shaping and forming of this country, United States of America. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes talking about Black history. This is going to be done every day for the month of February in celebration of Black history, or I like to say African Black history or African American Black History Month. So again, this is the African American Black History Education and Enlightenment Program. The reason why I call it Education and Enlightenment is we are all learning new things about people, places, and things, and situations. So we're going to be learning something new about African American Black history, education, meaning we are going to be having some information that I'm going to share with you. There's going to be some trivia questions I'm going to pull from different other websites that's celebrating Black History Month this month. And also, enlightenment means that we're going to be having this knowledge that's going to help us see more and learn more about our brothers and sisters of different cultures and different countries. So let's go ahead and get into this. And this is part one of the African American Black History Education and Enlightenment Program. And you're welcome to join us. You're welcome to put something in the chat, you questions. I'm learning just like you. I was researching and getting information about this program, and boy, it's a lot of things I didn't even know existed about African American Black history. So I'm going to first start out with a trivia, something I'm going to show you. This is something that I bought several years ago. And see if you can see it here. I bought it and the answers. So I'm just going to start with number one. In the year 2001, who became the first African American U.S. Secretary of State? And the second question is from, I'm just going to jump around on this particular card here. The first one, Congo is the world's leading producer of industrial diamonds. Is this country located in Central Africa or on the west coast of the continent? Where did the family live in Julie Dash's film Daughters of the Dust? The 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution granted suffrage rights to African American men. What does suffrage mean? Who won back to back women's singles tennis titles at Wimbledon in 2000 and 2001? So now I'm going to read you the answer to those trivia questions that I just read off of this Brain Quest Black History. So the answer to the first one is, the first question is, in the year 2001, who became the first African American U.S. Secretary of State? That was Colin L. Powell, who was also the first Black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The second question I asked from this card is, Congo is the world's leading producer of industrial diamonds. Is this country located in Central Africa or on the west coast of the continent? The answer is in Central Africa. The capital of Congo is Brazzaville. Then the next question I asked, where does the family live in Julie Dash's film, Daughters of the Dust? The answer, on Ebo Island off the South Carolina coast. Dash was the first Black woman writer and director to have a feature film nationally distributed. The next question was, the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution granted suffrage rights to African American men. What does suffrage mean? The answer, the right to vote. The 15th Amendment was adopted in 1870. And another question, who won back-to-back women's singles tennis titles at Wimbledon in 2000 and 2001? Venus Williams. She also won gold medals in the 2000 Olympics for women's singles and for women's doubles with her sister Serena. So that's just a few of the trivia questions that we are going to start out with. And then I'm going to go to another African American answer book of history that I purchased about the same time I bought the trivia book that I just showed you, and I bought it about 10 years ago. It even still has a price on it. But this is a African American answer book, and I'm going to focus on the history. There's 325 questions, and we're going to try to do 12 questions each time. So, reading from this book, I'm going to read from the introduction. In creating the Black Americans of Achievement series for Chelsea House Publishers, I was fortunate enough to work closely with Nathan Irvin Huggins, one of America's leading scholars in the field of Black studies and director of the W.E.B. Du Bois Institute for Afro American Research at Harvard University. His innumerable contributions to the books have not only helped to make Black Americans of Achievement an award-winning series, but his express commitment to inform readers about the rich heritage and accomplishments of African Americans has encouraged Chelsea House to draw from his work and develop the 325 questions that make up this African American answer book. Each of these briskly challenging questions have been designed to stimulate thought and discussion about African American history. The answers highlight either the leading figures of Black America or focus on previously unsung yet equally inspiring African American heroes, their achievements, and their legacies. You can use these questions to test your own knowledge or to stump your friends. Either way, you will find that this African American answer book, like its companion volumes, is bound to educate as well as entertain. So, the first question from this book is, what famous march helped influence the Voting Rights Act passed in August 1965? Now you have three choices, A, B, and C. A, March to Selma. B, Chicago Freedom Movement. Or C, March on Washington. And when I read these questions and the selection of answers, what I'm going to do is we'll come back tomorrow with the answer. So I'll give you the question, I'll give you the selection A, B, or C, the choice of an answer, and then next day, tomorrow, we will go over these questions and with the answers. So we're going to read 12 questions each day in the month of February 2023. So the second question, what is a theme of the classic speech delivered by Martin Luther King Jr. during the March on Washington that drew 250,000 people? A, give us the ballot. B, we shall overcome. C, I have a dream. Question 3 is true or false. In 1964, when Martin Luther King Jr. received the Nobel Peace Prize at age 35, he was the youngest man ever to receive this honor. Number 4, what civil rights leader and clergyman organized the Poor People's Campaign in Washington, D.C.? A, Jesse Jackson. B, Ralph Abernathy. C, James Meredith. Number 5, what anti slavery newspaper was founded by Frederick Douglass? A, the North Star. B, the Southern Inquirer. C, the Abolitionist. Number 6 question. What is the name of the educational institution that was established by Booker T. Washington in 1881? A, Tuskegee Institute. B, Hampton Institute. C, Howard University. Question 7 is true or false. Ralph Bunche was the first African American official in the U.S. State Department. Number 8, what famous quote was written by David Bradley? A, there are no good times to be Black in America, but some times are worse than others. B, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Or C, I too sing America. I too am America. Question number 9. In what year did the U.S. Congress abolish slavery? A, 1796, B, 1808, or C, 1865? Number 10 is true or false. L. Douglas Wilder was the first African American to be elected governor. Number 11. What African American was instrumental in the development of the city of Chicago? A. Jean Baptiste Point de Sable. B. Paul Cuffe. Or C. James Beckwourth. And number 12. Who was the first African American congresswoman from the South? A, Shirley Chisholm. B, Barbara Jordan. Or C, Maxine Waters. So those are first 12 questions, true or false questions, or write out questions with selection of choices that you can make from A, B, or C. And then tomorrow we will give the answers to those 12 questions or true and false statements. And so I want to go into more of Black History Month. And this is from the internet. I just did a search for Black History Month and I found something very interesting. This is about uh, Negro History Week before it was Black History. So Black History Month was called Negro History Week before it was called Black History Month. So reading here from, this is from NPR, and I'll put the link in the description box. From NPR, in 1926, Carter G. Woodson, the scholar often referred to as the, quote, father of Black history, close quote, established Negro History Week to focus attention on Black contributions to civilization. According to the NAACP, Woodson, at the time, only the second Black American after W.E.B. Du Bois to earn a doctorate from Harvard University, quote, fervently believed that Black people should be proud of their heritage and that all Americans should understand the largely overlooked achievements of Black Americans, close quote. Woodson, the son of former enslaved people, famously said, quote, "If a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated," close quote. Woodson chose a week in February because of Abraham Lincoln, whose birthday was February the 12th, and Frederick Douglass, who was born enslaved and did not know his actual birth date, but chose to celebrate it on February the 14th. Quote, "Those two people were central to helping to afford Black people the experience of freedom that they now have," close quote, says W. Martin Dunley, president of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, which Woodson founded in 1915 and today is the official promoter of Black History Month. In the decades after the Civil War, and through the racial violence that erupted across the country in the years following World War I, there was a concerted effort to repress the teaching of Black history. Quote, "In the South, they tried to suppress Black history or African American history in the public schools," Delaney says, continuing quoting Delaney, particularly about things like Reconstruction and slavery, literally distorting the curriculum, close quote. At the university level, Black Studies program was almost non-existent. He says, quote, "California was the first state to actually mandate Black history in 1951 for the public schools," close quote. Largely as a result of the civil rights and Black consciousness movements of the 1960s, quote, "you saw an uptick in Black history courses," close quote, says LaGarrett King, an associate professor of social studies education at the University of Buffalo. So that is from the Black History Month 2023 NPR National Public Radio. Title of the article is Black History Month. Here are three things to know about the annual celebration. So I read one, and then I'll put the other two in the link in the description box. Now I want to go to biography.com that talks about 10 Black inventors who changed your life. So I'm going to read from these, and I'm just going to briefly read uh, a, a bio of somebody. I'm not going to read all of them because I said I was going to do 20 minutes, and this is, I know everyone's busy, and so I wanted to just read a few. So this one, Thomas L. Jennings, the aforementioned first African American U.S. patent recipient, was working as a tailor and businessman in New York City when he invented a process for dry cleaning delicate clothing known as dry scouring. Jennings applied for a patent in 1820 and received his history-making approval the following year. With the money he earned from his invention, the formerly enslaved person both donated to abolitionist causes and even reported freed his still enslaved family members. Now, this woman is named Maria Van Britten Brown, also a New York City resident. Maria Van Britten Brown created an early version of the modern home security system more than a century later. Feeling unsafe during her neighborhood's high crime rate, a full-time nurse rigged a motorized camera to record her home entryway and projects images onto a TV monitor. Also included in her setup was a two-way microphone in order to communicate with visitors without opening the door, as well as a panic button to notify police of any potential emergency in progress. After filing to patent the closed-circuit TV security system in 1966, Brown received her approval in December 1969. I'm just reading those two for time's sake. And then lastly, just briefly, this is from history.com, and it has a lot of information about Black History Month. They talk about the first lawyer, John Mercy Langston, was the first Black man to become a lawyer when he passed his bar in Ohio in 1854. Also, there was Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall was the first African American heir appointed to U.S. Supreme Court. And then George Washington Carver developed 300 derivative products from peanuts, among them cheese, milk, coffee, flour, ink, dyes, plastic, wood stains, soap, linoleum, medicinal oils, and cosmetics. So right now, my time has spent. This is a little bit over 20 minutes. And so we're going to get back into more of this African American Black History Education Enlightenment program. I hope this will be educational not only for myself, but for you and your family, maybe your children, grandchildren want to know about this. And so it's important that we are all related, to know that we are all related as human beings. We are all related because all human beings on this planet Earth need to have food, clothing, and shelter, need to breathe oxygen, need to drink water to survive. So we learn about each other, cultures and differences and ethnicity as a way to understanding different people of different cultures and races and even religion. And so thank you for your time, and I hope you join us tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. on the Beyond 50 Wellness YouTube channel. And we're going to continue this enlightenment education on Black history, African American Black history. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings.